Greetings viewers, Eric the Car Guy. 2001 Acura Integra GSR, and it has a problem that several Hondas have. In fact, I've done a similar video on my Honda Element. The hood does not close after you open it. I will demonstrate. Today I'm going to show you how to fix this problem. Now, one of two things causes this problem. The latch itself will rust up, or the cable is sticking. But this is what you look for. You see how the spring is extended like this? It shouldn't be. If you want to just close your hood and you don't have time or parts or anything to fix this, this is what you do. Just push this spring back down like that and the hood will close. So basically you're bypassing the whole mechanism. But that's what you do if you don't want to spend any money or have any parts. I carried a screwdriver in the car for a long time and I just push this back into place. So as you open it, this will go this way. It's supposed to return on its own, but it does not. Now, this is part B of the diagnosis. If you move it and it's springing back into place like this one is here, that means the cable is the problem. If you do this and it's not springing back into place, then the latch assembly is likely the problem. You can soak this with penetrating oil all day long. I think the best fix is to take it out, sandblast it, then lubricate it, then put it back in, and that should recondition the latch, or you can replace the latch. The procedures I'm going to show you today are going to show you how to remove the latch, but also how to replace the cable, because in this case, as you've seen, I have a problem with my cable. If you're going to remove this hood latch assembly, it is centered in such a way to where it holds the hood closed in just the right way, so the panel gaps and everything are correct. You want to get it back in that same position, so you need to mark it before you remove it. It's held on by 3 fasteners. There's 2 on this side and there's 1 over on this side. I'm just going to draw with a marker around the top here. I have in the past scored the paint, and that can work, but you can invite rust. But on some vehicles, yeah, who cares? You can also, if you forget this step, I can't quite lift this up enough, but if you forget this step, there's likely going to be witness marks where the bolts were on the latch assembly, but if you're replacing the latch assembly, well, those aren't going to be there. Hopefully, this provides me with enough information in order to get this latch back into place. As I said, I'm going to be replacing the cable, not the latch today. Right, well, my marker wasn't very effective, so I'm going to go back to my scoring method, but I'm going to score all this grease and use that as my reference point. Maybe you can just get a can of spray paint and just spray it real quick. That will also give you a witness mark, but you can also see there's a little mark on this, and there's other marks on top. Sometimes here they are right here. Other marks on top that you can line things up. But I'm just going to use good old-fashioned scratch method. Just not going to scratch too deep. Now I'll remove those 3 fasteners I mentioned. The first one is right down here. And then there's 2 more over on the other side. Now that the latch is detached, I'll just pull it out like this. Here's where the cable comes in. I take a screwdriver, pry it out, and then it's just slipped in there underneath, sort of snaked in. That ball holds it in place. And there's our latch assembly. So if you needed to just replace this, you can insert your new one just in reverse of what I did to remove this one. So here's how the mechanism works. Top of the hood, there's a hook. It comes down into here. It clicks everything into place. So this right here is what's inside your hood. When you pull the cable release, it releases that, and then you lift up on this lever to get the hood off the rest of the way. That's the safety part of the latch. So as I said, everything in here moves like it should. This moves back into place. This moves like it should. Nothing up here is showing signs that it's not working properly. I'm the cable now. So nothing in here says it's not working properly, so I know for sure my problem is in the cable and not in the latch assembly. If this were a problem, usually this will rust up and stick, and it usually does behind this area right here. We know our problem is with the cable. Now we need to remove it. It is connected by plastic clips. Here's some up top here. One there. There's another one right here. There's also another one way over here. And these will stay on the cable, but they won't come with the new cable. So you have to transfer them over. And to do that, just spread them apart, slide them off the cable. The remainder of the cable is up underneath this inner fender liner. It's easier to remove the wheel to do this. You don't have to, but it certainly makes things, as I said, a lot easier. Now I don't need to take it completely out. I can just pull it down so I can get to where the cable is attached up in here. There are screws and also plastic clips. I have a special tool for removing the plastic clips. Sometimes breaks them, like it did there. If that happens, well, just destroy it. Let's see if this one comes out a little bit better. Sometimes you hit these with a little, like WD-40 or something, and they'll come apart a little easier. And I think I'm going to do that before I destroy another one. I've only got so many in stock. My favorite way to deal with the broken ones, however, is to knock the center in. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's just not cooperating today. I'm embarrassed. There's one that should be there that's not there. See if that helped. It helped. That one came out much easier. I just figured out why these aren't working as well. These are aftermarket clips. This car was in a collision at some point, so these aren't the original clips. So I don't feel bad about destroying them at all. I will replace them with good ones. Yeah, they come right out after you soak them in a little WD-40. Maybe I spoke too soon. Once again, aftermarket clips, not so good. I want to do a couple of screws here. Now I can pull the fender liner down. You can now see where the cable runs down into here and up across the top. Two clips similar to what we had underneath the hood. However, we don't have access to the back side. So what we need to do is slip underneath them and try to at least get one side to come out. And if we can get one side to come out, we're in good shape. So you slip up under here and there's a little plastic tab. You can just barely see. It should be there. And if you push it in and work it and talk nice to it, it'll come out like that. You may not always have that kind of luck, but what I was pushing on is these little pieces here were sticking up just enough. And that's what you try to depress to pull it out and not destroy it. If not, you can just order a couple of these clips with when you order the cable and just replace these when you replace the cable and not worry about these and break them when you take them out. With the cable disconnected, you can pull it through. I see the problem. During the collision, it got damaged right there. So that's the reason my cable isn't working right. You can clearly see where this old cable got smushed in the accident. So this should have been replaced after the collision. Here's where the latch assembly is inside the car. It's behind this kick panel cover. There is one fastener, plastic fastener, way up in here. This one just sort of unscrews. And there is our prize. This other one in the front is just pushed into place. So once you sort of have things off of here, sort of pull under the cover and it should pop out like that. Once it is, just remove the cover, set it aside. There are two 10mm fasteners holding this part of the assembly in place. Remove them now. Sorry about the clutch pedal being in the way. But behind this clutch pedal, the cruise control assembly is held on by two fasteners, and the last piece of our puzzle is underneath it. So we need to remove those two 10mm nuts, get this cruise control box out of the way, and we'll be able to get to where the cable passes through the fender wall. It's okay. I can't see what I'm doing either. Luckily they're nuts and studs and not bolts, so you can do them blind fairly easily. There's one at the top, another one down below. Which you can probably see better if I move the clutch pedal. That should lift up off of here now. You can unplug it and get it out completely, but with it out of the way, it's easy to see where the cable goes through. And right there is where the cable passes through. So I'm going to be pulling that rubber grommet through the inner fender well there and pull the cable all the way through. I'm going to go on the other side and just push the rubber part of the grommet through. You'll be able to see it on this side. Now that that's pushed through, you just pull the cable all the way out. There's a part number for the new cable. I'll also put a part number in the description for the latch assembly. This part number will also be in the description. If I can find these online, I'll put links to where you can purchase them as well. New part comes with a new grommet, a new latch, everything, except for those white clips. Before I insert this, I'm just going to hit this with a little bit of silicone spray so that it goes back into place a little bit easier. Now it's a matter of pretty much feeding it through and doing the reverse of what we did. Then when you get to the rubber grommet part, see it's stepped, you just push it through until it's sealed all the way around. And with silicone lubricant, makes easy work of it. There we are. Now before I get this all bolted down, I'm going to put the screws and everything back in place. Now I'll remount the latch, same two 10 millimeters. Reinstall the cover. You're gonna have to pull up on the latch in order to feed it through. Now reinstall the plastic clips, and they'll just push back into place, including the one up top that you had to screw in. Now that I've got the cable and latch and everything on the inside taken care of, I'm going to finish up out here, and I need to route this cable through that hole I just showed you there. So I'm going to fish this through and pull it out before I start attaching it to the inside of the body here. Now I'll attach it inside the fender before I attach anything out here. To me, it seems easier to attach everything to the latch and then start clipping things into place. Well, at least I want to clip things into place under here and then get to the latch before I do anything inside the fender there. So you'll need the clips, and those, as I showed before, just sort of spread apart and they'll go right on the cable. There's 3 of them. And then this gets routed behind the little ground wire. See a little ground wire here sticking up. So it goes under that ground wire in front of the radiator, above the condenser, and through here. If memory serves, we had one that was clipped here in this hole. Last one right here. This goes together the opposite of how I took it apart. Just take the ball, slip the cable up through there. Once it's locked in, sort of push this on the latch till it clicks into place. Take your 3 fasteners and your cable, line everything up where it was when you started, bolt it down. Since I'm reusing the latch, I can actually follow where the bolt head was to get it back in the same position. But positioning is important here. I'm running these all down close. I'm going to position it and then I'll tighten them down the rest of the way. It's right there, right there. That looks like about where it was. Since we're here, I might as well test it. That's encouraging. Also encouraging. Yes. Just need to finish putting it back together. We're out of here. Now all that's left is to tie this cable back up. Same thing we did under the hood. I'm going to put the fender liner back in place. I have a stock of these clips that were aftermarket on this car, and these are the original equipment ones, which I prefer. And it looks like there's one more. And we have our 2 screws. So nice to be able to do that now and not have to go in and fiddle with things. If you have a similar problem, as I said, it could be the latch or the cable. I believe we covered both things in this video. I'll put a link in the description to parts, tools, other information that could be useful to you, related videos, that type of thing. I'll also put a link in the description to EricTheCarGuy.com, which is where I go if you have additional automotive questions. You can connect with me socially on Google+, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I post repair videos on Fridays, so stop back and see me then. Be safe, have fun, stay dirty. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.